Welcome to Cyberpunk 2030 A Better Tomorrow
Yeah, we ran out of patience. watching it and was
I'm gonna
doing
run and grab a
fine.
drink. I'll be right.
And then all of a sudden, I saw somebody else's name on my account. Well, turned out she had my number,
Oh, geez.
and they didn't discontinue the number. So I was actually bettering her credit. And so when they switched everything over, they said, "Oh, we can't do business with you." It's like, what?
Yeesh.
2 years I've been doing business with you guys. So I just said,
Alrighty,
it's
so
I'm just whining.
no worries. Davey had gotten into the super base earlier on today and saw the wall of teleporters
Oh,
that
I haven't gone on yet.
that will send you to many zones in City of Heroes. So
Oh, I wish you were into that stuff, Dill. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hear you. MMOs, not exactly my thing.
Yeah, not everybody's.
I like him okay, but I just don't have a lot of time to game.
what?
Work is
I'm
finally
kidding.
making
I'm kidding,
me
Brittany.
work.
I'm kidding. God.
Yeah, that must suck, Justin, that you actually have to work.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't know what that is.
wow.
I just in my defense here, I want you, since this is all recorded, thankfully. You saw the look that I got, right?
Yeah.
Now, those of you who are around who saw her grill me because I put like a care emoji on one of her posts as opposed to like a laugh out loud. Wow. Let's just say the responses aren't equal.
Okay.
oh boy.
Hey, you two. Back to your corners.
You want equality? Oh, Jerome.
I know.
It doesn't work that way last time I looked.
No.
Dream on.
Okay, so we are back. We're live once again, and it's been a while. So does somebody want to give us a brief recap?
I can't remember who took the.
I don't remember
Did
either.
I take the? I took the notes last time. So hold on.
See, this is why it's good to have the notes posted in the Discord chat.
Yeah.
Always easy to find.
It has been helpful.
It seems like we haven't played in like eons.
A month, almost exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Bringing up my notes.
Oh, that would also mean we're rolling for XP because this would be the first time this month for Cyberpunk.
Sure enough.
Yeah, and then next time we get to do it again.
And the last.
Yeah. The last time for this month. Okay. So in episode 7, the Edge Runners wake up to the sounds of a rooster crowing. Slowly, each of them make their way downstairs to find a feast for breakfast. While they ate, they discussed what they were needing to do to get out of the game. They decided to head into town and try to learn as much as they could. Before they left, there was a knock at the door, and a woman asked for Doc. It's Mary Main. And she informs Doc that there are 5 big guys looking for him, and they didn't seem friendly. Doc has to take Mary May outside before I can't even say my own name. Octavia slugged her into the next century. Doc sends her to Rocky Point. Octavia wants to bring a few ranch hands to help protect Skulls, but that sparked an argument, so instead she ends up getting a shotgun for herself with 4 shells. Once in town, Doc and Amore head to the sheriff's office. Stolas heads to the bar, and the girls head to the post office to inquire about getting some supplies for the print shop. The girls need to talk to the mayor, Clifford Birch, about opening a new storefront. In the sheriff's office, only the deputy is there. Amore introduces himself and shows him the poster of Red Bowman. The deputy tells him that the guy had come through but didn't know his whereabouts. Doc finds out that the men looking for him are jaded husbands. Turns out Jock was a bit too sweet on their wives. Mad Dog Page is one of the guys looking for Doc. Stoles pays on his debt to the bartender and then talks him into letting him play the piano in order to try to pay off the rest of his debt. At the general store, the girls walk into the building. Inside, there's all sorts of household goods, fabrics, and knickknacks. Inquiring how much it would be for a printing press, they're told $550. Alberta, which is Sam, talks to him and doing a payment plan. Edgar Wilson is the name of the general store owner. Hiram Kane is the blacksmith. Russell Graham is Mary May's daddy and runs the bank. The group heads out of town to have their so-called picnic, and Stolas starts to hallucinate. Surprise, surprise. He sees a Morlock hanging off of Sam's shoulder and starts talking to him. Then the monster begins to eat Sam, and Doc turns into a selection of meats. Arnold and Doc are going to go. They're going to go to Chinatown. Stolas is heading back into town, and the girls are going to the bank. As Stolas comes down the walk, a stagecoach pulls in, and the drivers look undead. One of them tells him to get in. He's going to Oregon. Stolas was going to go to the bank to change out the 20, but ends up getting into the stagecoach, figuring they would have change in Oregon. Inside, he realizes he's riding with passenger kids with the Black Plague. The girls head towards the bank, and as they come to the Gold Rush Inn, there's a crowd of people, and in the middle is Stolas sitting on the hitch post. Sam headed into the bank while Octavia stayed to watch over Stolas. Seeing the sheriff there, she talks him into taking him in to sleep it off in a cell. Once Stolas is safe, Octavia heads to the bank, and that's where we left it off.
I forgot all about that.
Yep.
It's all I can think about is how bad Stolas was.
Yeah.
They have change in Oregon.
So
Do they
Die
though?
of dysentery on my way there, will I?
So you wake. So where everybody's waking up the next afternoon or next morning at this point. Stolas, there is the smell of coffee, fumigating the jail and the front desk where the sheriff or deputies, if they happen to be watching, kind of station themselves, occasionally for anybody who might come in or out. And the sheriff ends up kicking the jail cell to rattle it to wake you up.
Good morning, Sheriff.
And then he says, "You want some coffee?"
Oh, yes, please.
All right, so he hands you a tin cup with some hot coffee, through the cell at this point. That was potently strong coffee. And it
Someone once told me you can get a really good cup of coffee with a sock.
and he says, "Funny you should say that." So, he pulls a sopping sock out of the top where the beans have been roasting through the water and whatnot, using it as a filter.
So the black.
I mean, it
Thank
might be
you
a
kindly.
clean
I
sock.
didn't-
You don't know.
I didn't actually hurt anyone or anything like that yesterday. Please tell me it was only yesterday.
He says, "Depends on how you define hurt, boy."
Injure. I imagine I might have made a few gas happen because I can feel it in my pants already.
Yeah, he says, "Yeah. Well, there ain't no
I need to
physical injury, but the owner of the Gold Rush ain't. He's not too happy with you having to empty out that water trough."
I'll get to that first thing in the morning. Once I'm done with this delicious coffee.
And he says, "Actually, you're going to be staying here for a little bit." We got to figure out just what to do with you, boy. You are what is called a public nuisance.
I have a feeling it's not the first time you've called me that, and it's probably this is the most polite you've said it.
No, you would be right, and you seem to be right lucid. First thing in the morning, maybe you should start your day off with drinking some of that fine coffee and not so much the hooch.
I think yesterday I just got touched in the head with the heat.
Oh, you were definitely touched in the head. I don't know if it was by the heat, but you were definitely touched in the head. Seems you pissed all over yourself riding on that hitching post.
Yeah. And he'll move his body around a little bit. I can tell, and I'll clean up the cell when you let me out. Or you can hand me a rag and I'll clean it up while I'm in here.
No, you just sit tight for the time being. I got word while you were resting off whatever touched your leaky brain pan that there were some fellas in town wanted a word with you.
Oh God, I don't know what I did this time.
Well, I don't reckon I know either, son, but you're going to sit tight until they have a chance to talk to you, and then we'll figure out and go from there.
He'll finish off the coffee and hand the cup back through.
Okay.
Oh, God, that was one of the worst. the heat got to me. Just being honest, it was all the heat.
Oh, I'm sure. Had nothing to do with them opium dens now, did it?
Actually, opium's not my thing.
Well, sure it ain't, son.
Oh no, a few other things. Oh yeah, but opium is all sorrow and down. I don't like the down feelings.
So he, at this point, goes back to cleaning, one of his revolvers, making sure they're loaded and everything's ready to go.
I was being serious when I told him I wanted to work off my debt before I stayed too long in the sun.
Well, that's good to know. Hold on a second. There we go. One more moment. There we go. Okay. So, any rate. So he just kind of waves that off at that point. And, like I said, he's going back to doing his morning routine, drinking his own coffee. So those of you back at the ranch at this point, another morning, waking up, obviously, Stolas is not here.
Right.
There's a morning spread that's been laid out. What is everybody doing first thing in the morning?
Eating,
Getting dressed.
getting dressed,
Yes.
and then eating.
Oh, yeah. Coming down, sitting down, getting into the food.
Same.
Do you think if we packed up a bunch of this stuff before we leave, like leave, do you think it would still be there when we checked?
I think we should find out how they're making this stuff. That tech alone would probably set us up just short of forever. I mean,
as
stuff
long
is
as
fantastic.
as long as we can share without shorting ourselves,
True. Well, we make it exclusive. You know, I mean, we sell to those who can pay for it, but make it reasonable, I guess.
Hmm.
Kind of. Maybe if we figure out the technology, we can make more of it. I mean, who knows? I guess we got to figure all that stuff
I
out
am-
if we can get out.
I am definitely good with that.
Oh
yeah,
my.
maybe we can poke around and find out where it's coming from, and I can take a gander.
Yeah, I think ultimately we've got to fix Mother's psyche through all this stuff somehow, and then we can just talk to her. Maybe she'll be reasonable. Maybe
I
she'll help us
still,
out.
I still don't know how we're going to accomplish that.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to do that. We want to find out how to get the meat. We got to keep you from getting shot by disgruntled husbands.
Right.
Yeah, what's
Stolas
up
is
with that?
in the pokey.
It's my background story, my character. I don't know. That's apparently my goal in this story. I've got to deal with those 5 dudes.
Yeah, Doc's the whore.
Gigolo, thank you very much.
I was gonna say I don't remember that being in the description. The whole, but and I thought we came from a society where you were innocent until proven guilty. This is just a bunch of baseless accusations against a fictional character.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have any way of
Which real
verifying.
bullets can kill.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been proven yet.
That real bullet, that the bullets are.
I'd rather not take that chance.
Yeah, no. No, I kind of fond of breathing. Just
Yeah.
a little.
Okay, so we're all going to do breakfast. Is there a game plan for today? Like,
Well, I thought I would go and check on Stolas.
Think we should bring him some breakfast?
Yeah, probably.
actually, you might want to bring the guy who's doing the jail service breakfast first. It always
Oh.
helps to lubricate the deputy or sheriff.
That is true.
Okay.
Yeah, they might be wary of you just like canning food to a prisoner. I'm not sure if they're going to hold him for days or if they're just going to let him out, actually.
I don't know. I asked the sheriff to keep him until he sobered up. So
Well, that answered that question.
I just figured
Actually,
that would be the safest place for him.
We'll leave off the number of people that died in jail. Yeah, that's not going to be reassuring. That used to happen a lot too. Those
Well,
jails.
Doc did okay until he sobered up.
well, that was at the very beginning of this story or whatever. I mean, I guess it's going to depend on how moral the deputy and sheriff are, because if they can just be bought off to put a couple of rounds in Stolas while he's a sitting duck, that's going to suck.
Well, what kind of feeling did you guys get of them? Did they seem like they were shady?
The sheriff seemed okay. The deputy looked, what's the word I want to use, like he could be manipulated.
Yeah, maybe. Haven't really spent enough time talking to him or seen him do enough to know for certain, but who knows? We should just check up on Stolas and make sure he's okay periodically.
Yeah.
If I can get the illusion of a business going, then
Oh
I
yeah.
could need to hire any number of individuals to help me run it. So that could give him a little purpose to be out and about.
Do you want to
Yeah.
try the bank again today?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. As far as playing my part.
Yeah, we can go visit Mary May's daddy.
Yeah, I have to go to Rocky Point and get her.
Did you leave her there all night? Oh my god.
I mean, I didn't say. No, I did. Yeah.
You did.
Okay.
You said stay there and I will come get you. You are like the worst fiance ever.
I'm just gonna be a tad late. I had to make sure that she was safe. I still have no idea where there's 5 other guys are.
And why would you pick her for a fiance?
You know, because she's the banker's daughter,
He's going to
probably.
shoot you
I
when he
mean-
finds out you're sleeping with her.
There's no accounting for taste.
True.
Huh.
I mean, she's
Oh
lovely,
my.
but I am, whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
He'll remember that next time you need your eye fixed again.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's an awful lot of discouragement heaped on Doc when he's down.
Poor Doc.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we won't let you get hanged.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Better hope that I'm a pretty good shot so I can shoot the rope if they get you.
It's
know if
not
those
going to
guys
get
are-
that far. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Because who knows where the widow's been.
Shh. I know where the widow's been.
So, what about this criminal that you're looking for?
Right.
According to the local authorities, he was here and then he kind of drifted off. They haven't seen any indication he's in town, but they're not willing to swear that he's left.
So he may be close by.
Do we
I
know if
wouldn't
he
s-
has a habit of returning to certain locations?
He has no habit. He's not local to the town.
Yeah, we unfortunately don't know a lot about him, but I mean, he's got to be relatively close or somewhere in town because we can't leave this general area, right?
We can't. That doesn't mean they can't, quote unquote, leave and come back when it's convenient. See,
Do you have
Yes.
to capture him in order for us to leave?
I have no idea. Might just have to shoot him. Might just have to look for him, and it's very, very open ended. There's nothing in there that is any indication of how it's supposed to end.
Oh yeah,
mean,
that reward poster is
maybe we
it?
should ask our concierge
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens if you don't find him.
Why would he say anything?
He said if we had any questions.
You think he would have told us how to finish this like simulation game thing then? Like why
He
wouldn't he
did
just be forthright?
We did ask that question in many different forums, and he was basically very not informative.
Elusive.
Elusive, yeah.
So no, I
Yeah,
don't
that's-
think
This is
that's
why
his
I don't.
programming.
This is why I don't play games. I hate games.
Wow.
I like knowing the ending.
I think that's the Boot Hill thing. That's where the ending for most of that is. So
Yeah, that's not the ending I was looking for.
Right.
in the West, it was the ending for a lot. But anyhow, so we're gonna check on Stolas.
Bank.
Then
We're going to go
actually,
see Doc's future
Doc should get on.
father-in-law, who's going to give him a shotgun wedding.
Actually, no, it's not good for Doc to go by himself anywhere. That means I'm gonna have to go with Doc and collect the girl.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that sounds wise.
Yeah, your
Okay.
badge might be somewhat discouraging.
I
Maybe.
doubt it. It depends.
Just
It's-
stay behind him, Doc.
Yeah, that's not going to work either because I duck.
So, shall we go about our business again and meet at lunchtime? Have another picnic?
Sure.
We're at the saloon again?
Yeah, let's just meet at the saloon.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll see
Okay.
if we'll see if we can gather Stolas and bring him with us.
You guys just stay safe.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So we're going to finish breakfast, and I'm going to go with Doc. We're going to get on our horses and go trotting off in search of the lovely lady, while the ladies take the buckboard, I assume, and
We're going to go to the bank.
go to the bank.
And
Okay.
take breakfast. Take
And then-
breakfast. Take
well-
breakfast to the guys at the jail.
Right. And then go to the bank and then maybe come back and get Stolas.
Okay. So, those of you who are riding out to Mary May, so that would be. I heard that.
Yeah.
So close.
So those of you who are riding out, that would be Skulls and Amore going to go meet Mary May.
Yep.
Do you know where Rocky Point is?
So that's the thing. Like, we've got to like head into town and like find
You could
out how
ask-
to get there first.
You can
Actually,
ask one of the ranch
Ranch
hands.
hand.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
I was going to say.
Yeah, sure. So find a ranch hand, whoever's nearby, and ask him how to get to Rocky Point from here.
Sure. So random ranch hand looks at you kind of funny. Like, why are you asking where, Rocky Point is? But he's just like, gives you directions like, follow, from here, you're going to ride down, follow that stream and, head till you see the, the dead tree that looks, partly burnt. You're going to hang a left there, all that wilderness sort of landmarker type of travel,
Sure.
because there's no like direct road that leads there.
Okay.
So with that, go ahead and both you give me intelligence and awareness notice checks.
Intelligence and awareness
Huh.
notice.
Sorry.
Find the die roller. Cyberpunk. Rolls. There we go.
A total of 16.
Okay.
/R. God, I'm slow at this. Sorry, Jerome. Been too long.
So /R space 1d10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Looking for my stat on actually. 3 and awareness.
Under intelligence.
Yeah.
Left hand side.
7s. And what was the other stat?
Intelligence.
It's always intelligence and awareness notice.
Okay, so 7. I've got 18.
Okay. Alrighty. So you guys are making your way. You don't get too far off track from the roundabout directions that you're given as you're kind of moseying along this little stream. An emphasis on little stream. You could jump to either side. It's not terribly big.
I'm on the east bank. I'm
I'm on the west bank. Yep.
It's the principle of the matter.
It's the principle of the matter.
Yeah.
A black sheriff? Why not?
That's-
It worked in Blazing Saddles.
It's men in tights, right?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys continue down. It's it's a nice kind of lazy little stream. There's some trees and foliage that kind of cover it up a little bit. So if this wasn't such a jarring situation and you were wearing anything but cowboy outfits or what, maybe this might be kind of interesting, but you don't have the weapons you're used to, you don't have any of the armor that you had, you don't have any of that. You certainly don't have a car, which would be, ideal. So, plus
Yeah.
you're on horses, which you guys have never ridden horses before.
Yeah.
So you're hoping
You've
and
never
praying.
even seen horses before.
So you're hoping and praying that it doesn't buck, or it just decides it's going to go in another direction because you're kind of at its mercy.
Yeah.
But you end up following the directions, and then eventually from the stream and turning where the burnt tree was at. Looks like the tree probably got struck by lightning a long time ago or something. So because it's got like this kind of jagged, burn mark on it, and it's hollowed out in one piece, and of course the branches are all coming off of it, and no leaves or no growth of any kind. And you turn there, and it opens up into a small field. There are a couple of hills, jagged, just north of this position, and that is presumably where Rocky Point is at. There is a fairly large rock that kind of juts out, almost like Pride Rock in a sense, from the Lion King. That kind of visual, like it's a bit of a stand, and you see just a little bit of smoke coming up.
That's probably her, or where she was. I think we better get there quick. She's been there a while. Let's go ahead and start trotting over to that spot.
Okay. So you you kind of clear the bank, that the lower end of the hills, start trotting up the opposite side to get kind of to the more focal point, which the Rocky Point has kind of an elevated view of this particular area, maybe not more than maybe 90 to 100 feet. It's not super big, but it's nice enough that you can kind of look out, kind of romantic look at the stars sort of thing.
Gotcha.
There are, and the rocks kind of form a little bit of a natural cave when you get towards the top. When you get there, you can see what appears to be a horse that's just kind of hanging out. Doesn't seem to be tied to anything in particular. And you see the remains of what was probably a campfire. It's what little smoke was smoldering. Okay. But you don't see anybody else.
Shoot. Okay.
Maury's gonna dismount, and if there's nothing that looks like where the horse can be tied, he's gonna give the reins to Doc, and he's going to slowly walk up with his hand on his gun and just make sure there's no one reading out there. He's going to approach the cave, do the whole 9 yards.
Okay. Why don't you give me a reflex and athletics check to get to dismount?
Okay, reflex. Okay.
Step 1.
Yeah, just getting off the horse.
Yep. Step 1,
come on.
dismount.
Yep.
On a side note, it just rumbled lightning and thunder in my area.
I thought I saw a flash behind you.
What is it with threes? 12.
Oh,
the
wow.
second one.
Okay.
Dang.
So you're trying to figure out, you're like, okay, well, should I do it this way? Do I throw the leg up and over? It's like, how exactly did I do this? And you're like looking for like a rock maybe to step off of to give you a little bit of balance. Like if a bike is too big or something, that helps you, throw your leg. So you're looking for that, and you throw your leg over and just right to the ground, just poof, you just wipe out hard.
Oh,
You just totally not. You were totally not ready for that.
Choom, you all right there?
Yeah, of course. Just my dignity. Oh, wait. I don't think I have that. Anyhow, there's no one here to see besides you and me. We're all good.
Good point.
He picks himself up, brushes himself off, shrugs his shoulders. It's like, yeah, This is why we did things differently. Okay. And once again goes about trying to look around, see if there's anyone really there, or if they're just the horse and the girl's gone.
Yeah. So the horse is still here. Obviously. It looks like there may have been like a little bit of supplies in there at one point in time, but the saddlebags are empty. There is a spot on the ground not far away from where the campfire was that looks like it's been pressed down.
Mm-hmm.
There was some grass and whatnot, so it's just kind of so perhaps that's where somebody was laying, but you don't see anything would denote that there's a person there.
Doc's gonna be like, "Hey, you happen to see? Are there any like tracks? I mean, did she go somewhere, or did somebody come by? Anything?"
Moore just kind of turns around and looks at him. Goes, I'm and then he goes, "Oh yeah, staying in character. It's not my thing."
Oh. Well, I mean, you were the scout. I don't know if you ever needed to do something like that. I know you're not trying to follow tire tracks, but
Let me think. Hide and evade is not useful for this.
Nope. Wilderness
Awareness
survival
notice.
would be.
I actually have wilderness survival.
Amazing.
It is. It's a relevant skill. I was like, yes, I actually have it.
Who knew?
Yeah.
So
I didn't.
Clearly it was a dump stat. So intelligence and wilderness survival.
There was
Alrighty.
nothing more important that you thought you might spend those points on? And that was lucky.
No, actually, as a result of being shot down by an airplane. Oh, crap, a 10.
Oh, fair.
Oh, if you got a 10, roll
Nice.
again
oh, nice.
Boom.
because it explodes.
Explode.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so 12. Wilderness survival makes it 14. And the controlling stat
Is
20
intelligence.
Yeah, 22.
Nice. Okay. So Amori gets down and starts looking around, and for a second there, Skulls, he looks like a genuine sheriff. Like he's just kind of going over this site, and like, you kind of throw that idea at him, and it's just like a light goes off in his head, and he starts going at this, and you're just like, son
He's
of a
really
gun.
getting into it.
Yeah. And sure enough, Amori, as you're kind of looking around, obviously there are some tracks where it looks like she was probably pacing back and forth because they kind of go over each other occasionally. And then you see another pair of tracks that look like it comes up to the camp from the opposite side, almost as if they came from around one of the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see those tracks leaving back that way, and there you go. And you also find what appears to be some crumpled up paper on the ground.
I will, of course, not want to remove the unwanted litter from the environment and acting from an ecological point of view and pick it up and walk slowly over to Doc and go like, a clue.
Picks up the paper, kind of, unfolds it. Is there anything written on there?
Yeah, actually, I mean, it's crumpled, but it was written in pencil. And it is a letter from Mary May. It was almost as if she was writing kind of a journal, but she's, hoping that you'll be here soon. She's wanting to begin her life with you. She doesn't, believe any of the words that she hears from those people because that's not you. That's not the man that she knows and loves. And as she's kind of professing like her love again and kind of talking about it, like extolling that, you can see it like abruptly stops, like the pencil kind of scraped off the paper, and then that was it.
Seems like they nabbed her while she was in the middle of writing this. Did you find any tracks? Looked like you were really doing your thing over there.
And Maury just kind of looks up at Doc and goes, "Yeah, I found some tracks. Someone basically ambushed her, came around the rocks, and went walking off that way."
I mean, we got to go after her then. It's part of the story, right thing to do, right?
It's heroic, also.
There you go. Let's do this. Can you get back on your horse? You gonna be okay there?
Um, I'm relatively sure I'm going to walk with the horse a little bit because
Oh,
I'm following the tracks, and I doubt while riding the horse I'm going to see enough of them to get the direction right.
that'll work. Yeah, I'll follow you.
I grab the reins and the horse and just start following the tracks, muttering to myself, "I'm
Okay.
not being paid enough to do this. I'm not being paid enough to do this. I am not being paid enough to do this."
Did you grab the other horse too, or did you leave it?
Doc is still on his horse.
No, she's talking
Yeah.
about the Mary May
Oh.
horse.
Mary
Mary
May's
May
horse.
Probably just leave that. Well,
You should
Oh.
probably take it with you.
yeah, I guess we will take it. So Doc will kind of ride up next to it, take its reins, and like guide it along with his horse, following Amori.
Okay, sure. All right, so Stolas, as you are waiting around at this point, the morning has come around, and the door opens up to the jail, and you see 5 individuals come walking in. They're of various ages. One, he would appear to, which would probably be a little bit closer to elderly, given this time frame, but technically about middle-aged. He seems to be the ringleader of the group. Burly-looking guy. Got his cowboy hat on. Another guy on the youngish side, probably early 20s. He looks a little. He probably works the land, but is new at it. if that makes sense, like he.
I understand. I know what a new field hand looks like.
Yeah. Another guy looks like if he stared at the sun long enough, the sun would go back down. He just like you look at him, and and he's bigger than the main guy come walking in, and he wears his anger on his face and in his stance and his posture. He's in mostly black and reds. Another guy, he appears to be probably in his 30s. He looks like he was probably a little bit more capable than the new field hand looking guy was. So maybe he was, he may not be a rancher, but he probably did a lot of manual labor, as many men did back then. So he looks pretty stout. Somewhere in between the older guy who came walking in and the mousy looking guy and whatnot. And then another guy, and lastly, the other guy came walking in. He's about average. His clothing does not denote that he is the type of person that found himself out on the range much. Probably more city folk, so much more civilized. All of them are armed. One of the biggest guy has a rope. And
Oh,
guy comes in and tips his hat to the sheriff. And he says, "Morning, Sheriff." And he looks at him and he says, "Morning to you too, stranger. I take it you're here to question my prisoner." And he says, "That we are. We have reason to believe that he has been found in the company of most heinous of individuals. And we aim to find out if he has." And he says, he kind of looks back and he looks at Stolas and kind of gives him a look of like, I was wondering when this was going to catch up to you, sort of thing. Like he just thinks you're the one at fault. And so he's like, "All right, you can do it from the cell." And he says, "Fair enough for now." He says, "But I'm going to kindly ask you keep your guns holstered. I don't want to send any of you off to the Great Divide without you first getting the chance to make it right by your maker." And they kind of shoot him a look, and he's got a deputy here at this point, and even though they're outnumbered, they're not here to start a fight with the sheriff. So the man comes walking up, older man. He's got kind of a 5 o'clock shadow going on. It looks like he hasn't really shaved much in a while. So he's got some full on stubble going. Takes his hat and kind of kneels down a little bit so you can get a good look at him. And he says, "So you that homeless person that's wandering around these parts? Drunken scab, kind of, making trouble for city folk here?"
houseless. Home's wherever I tip my hat at night.
And he said, and so he turned
And you may have noticed I sold my hat some time ago, so you could say I'm homeless.
So he turns and looks at the others and he says, "Oh, he's houseless." And they all kind of chuckle. He says, "So folks around here tell us your name's Milton. Your name's Milton, right?
Yes, it is.
And what was it that you were doing the other day with feller about yay tall, dresses in finer than normal linens, goes by the name of Doc Halloway?"
Trying to earn some money, I would reckon. Why?
"You trying to earn money?"
Yeah, just because I don't have a day job don't mean I can't earn my way.
"Begging ain't no way, son."
I wasn't begging.
Oh, is this beg less? Is that what you're gonna call it now?
No, it's the same as that youngin' there who looks like he just started working.
So he kind of turns for a second and looks at the one that you point at, and he says, "Oh, what you mean, Morris?"
I'm saying if he asked me to muck out a stable, I'd muck out a stable. If he asked me to polish his boots, I'd polish his boots.
"Is that so? Huh."
If the nice ranch lady up there wanted me to do the same, I'd be the same way.
He says,
Hopefully I can get a regular gig playing piano because I'm good at that.
he says, "Well, we ain't got no call for no pianist." Says, "We just want some information. We can make it worth your while. That is, if you ain't too homeless to earn a little bit of authentic cash."
Going with the moral high ground, of course.
He says, "So folks say you've been in Doc's presence."
Yeah, because occasionally I can do things for him and he pays me money for it.
"Is that so? So whereabouts
occasionally
is
the
he?"
ranch lady gives me work to do.
And who is this ranch lady? She the widow that's also been seen in your company?
Yeah, the widow lady. I forget her name right now. The doc told me once if you stay out too long out in the sun, it'll mess up your memory. Not enough water, he says. I think it can be replaced with whiskey. We've had a few arguments about it.
Go ahead and roll your empathy and persuasion fast talk.
That's not as good as I want it to be. Stupid cyberware. That is going to put me at a 15.
Okay. So 15. So you rattle that off, and the sheriff says, "Now you lying like a dog already. Son, you were just sitting down having some sort of picnic with her the other day and the other folks."
Yeah, we were discussing things I could do that her ranch hands did not want to do. Because I got a meal out of it, it's somehow a bad thing.
Yeah, at that point, the guy looks to you and he says, "Son, you can't lie as long as the day is long here. You're going to have to fess up, because you don't. Now I gotta figure you're with Doc and you're protecting him, and that ain't gonna end well for you. So you might want to spill the beans, unless we just pay for your incarceration to end, and then find you at the end of a rope."
Wouldn't be the first.
So
how much money you got on your boys?
He turns and looks to the others and he says, "Oh, he's got jokes." And so the sheriff kind of looks at him and he's like, and he looks at you and he's just shaking his head. He says, "Vagrancy is only going to cost you a buck to settle. You got that? I'll let you have him." So he turns and he looks at you and he says, "Should I pay the man $1?"
Feel free to. While we're doing this, let's swing over by the Golden, and then we can pay off that debt too, since you're being so magnanimous.
And so
because they're going to want to settle up with me before you settle me up in a tree.
He says, "Yeah, well, we'll take care of that later then." And so one of the men slaps $1 down on the table for the sheriff, and he's just like, He says, "I figured something would catch up to you. I had no idea strangers would catch up to you." And so he moves over and unlocks the cell.
Nah, I'm not worried, Sheriff. They're going to want to scare me, because if they're looking for me for answers, it means they ain't got any.
How long does it take me and Sam to get there?
Get you guys in a second.
Okay.
So at that point, the sheriff obviously unlocks the cage, and lets them drag you out. Are you going to resist?
No.
Okay. So they end up tying a noose around your neck and start forcibly walking you outside.
He goes with them.
Okay. And so two of them at this point go over and end up getting their horses. One hops off at this point, and so they walk over, and the big burly one is the one, I should say the big burly one, and the guy you've been talking to are the ones that are staying next to you. They go to a tree nearby. And you see that they strap the rope to the back of the horse after throwing it up over a branch. And he says, "You got any more smart words?"
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
And he says, "He's got gibberish." He says, "Set him on." So they slap the
I would
horse.
say intelligent, but I think that
They
word is a little
slap
too smart for you.
they slap the horse at this point, and you start going up and choking. So Sam and Octavia, as you guys are riding into town, you can see down south of the sheriff's station, the jail where the sheriff is usually found. There is a tree that overlooks the street, and they've got somebody strung up, and they're hanging him from the tree. The horse has a rope tied to the saddle, and this person's like squirming and struggling at this point, feet completely off the ground.
You don't think they've got Doc already, do you?
Can we tell who it is?
Why don't you give me? I keep saying wits and alertness checks. Why don't you give me intelligence and awareness notice?
Ooh, nice.
$24.
30.
Wow. So yeah, from where you guys are sitting, that is definitely not Doc, because as he starts spinning around, trying to hold onto the rope to give himself some room to even remotely breathe, it's Stolas.
Okay, so hey-ya!
Yeah, who's driving this thing?
I guess Octavia by
Yep,
Okay.
he's going to.
by the hi-ya.
Yep,
See if you can head off the horse, maybe.
and she's going. Well, she's going to start flying down the main street towards Stolas.
Okay. So you force your horse into, to ride harder, start taking off down the down towards the end of the street. Of course, you can hear the Stolas, and you see two of you guys can see two of the men reaching for their pistols as they can see the cart come riding down the street pretty far, or I should say pretty fast.
She's going to leave the fast talking to Sam since she's the lady.
So are you bringing the horse to stop
Well,
where it's at,
yeah.
or are you trying to run them down?
No, not going to try to run him down. She's going to bring him to a stop where Stolas is, and she's going to try. She's going to get down and try to get the horse that's connected to Stolas.
Okay, so you're going to try and bring the wagon to a stop. We don't really have Old West rules for Cyberpunk. Imagine that.
So she's going to pull
why-
back
I know,
on
weird.
the reins. Pull
Why-
back on the reins.
Why don't you give me intelligence and wilderness survival?
Okay.
Would you consider this a vector thrust or a fixed wing?
Neither.
I'm kidding. That's a joke.
I
That's a
know.
joke.
15.
Although if you applied wings to the cart, you might consider it fixed wing. No, I'm just kidding. She just takes two boards and nails it to either side. Yay! I get my skill check.
Hey, it's horsepower.
Okay, so you're going based off of old vids that you may have seen at this point, and you're hoping.
Well, remember, she also had one of the ranch hands kind of show her how to do things. So,
Okay, you didn't even have a day of that.
well, she had a day. Well, kind of.
You
Before they
didn't- I was gonna say,
before they took
you
off.
you haven't even had a day of training for this.
So she just knows to pull back on the reins.
So, well, again, you haven't even had a day. This is not something you can master, in
No,
the
she's got a
span of like
15.
an hour. So you're like, you're pulling it back and trying to get the horse. So the horse, it comes to stop a little too early. It's kicking up dust, and so 4 of the guys draw their pistols and draw them on you two. And at this point, Stolas is still like choking out.
Told you I could dance.
Why don't you give me a stun save. You need to get right now 8 and under.
For me?
Yeah.
Okay.
How far are they from the sheriff's office?
Across the street.
Okay.
Got a 3, sir.
Okay, yeah, you are good so far. You're still choking.
Is he watching this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the men, they've got their pistols drawn at this point. The one guy who seems to be kind of the ringleader of it all, and he says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! We're hauling up a vagrant up here and getting us a hanging. We ain't drilling no women, unless they got something coming to them."
Sam.
So at that point, he looks to the two of you and he says, "I don't know what business you've got here, but you best be backing up."
Sam will put her hands on her hips and just stand up tall and look him in the eye and say, "Unhand that man. Take him down. I need him. I have plans for him."
And Octavia is going to follow up with, what is his crime? What has he done that he deserves to be hung? And she's going to look over at the sheriff and say, he was supposed to be sobering up in your cell, not being hung.
And he says, well, apparently he's got out of town business.
She's going to give him
So
that look.
And so Sam, why don't you go ahead and roll. You are trying to. It's not going to be persuasion fast talk. You're not trying. It's either going to be leadership or intimidation. I'll let you choose which.
Okay, this is not great. I guess I'll go with leadership. Okay. I rolled a 10.
Go
Okay.
again.
Roll again. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
20.
Nice. All right, so he motions to one of the men to bring the horse back a little bit, and he says, "All right, hold on." He says, "Consider me curious that this seems to be the most self-important vagrant I ever done run into. But, he has apparently a woman a standing and a woman." Apparently tied to him. I want to hear this out. And the really big guy is just like, "I don't want to get a kill." And he's like, "Now, Mad Dog, just calm your horses. Just give me a moment to suss this whole thing out." And he says, he says, "I'll tell you what. Why don't you put the street howitzer right next to that vagrant's face, and they flinch or something? You just go ahead and pull the trigger. How's that?" And he's like, "All right, yeah, I can do that." And so So they bring him down so that Stolas isn't completely choking. Like your tippy toes are on the ground, so you can kind of keep yourself up enough to keep yourself from choking. It's a bit of a strain, but you can do it. But as you get a good look, double barrels are like right here, like right to your face. And that big guy, he just wants to shoot you for like you don't have no idea who this guy is. And it looks like the only thing that's going to make him happy right now is watching what buckshot this close does to your face. Not a great moment. And so, the others kind of circle around the horse so nothing happens. And the man stands up there and he says, all right, ladies, speak your piece.
I have a contract with that man to help me with my business, and if you put him out of it, then I shall demand one of you to take his place.
That's so. A vagrant.
Yes.
Who's trying to better himself.
And so, yeah, the sheriff at this point just kind of tips his hat and puts it down like to cover up his face. Looks like he's trying to hide a snicker at this point. And so the guy's just like looking around and he says, well, damn, ain't that just terrible? And he looks over to Stolas and he's like, ain't this just the damnedest thing? You seem to have all these people considering you so self-important that you need to be saved. What were you a preacher in some other life with your smart mouth? He says, don't answer that. Mad Dog's likely to shoot.
And may I ask, what business is it that has you so tied up in knots that you would take your aggression out on this poor, defenseless man?
On an innocent one who's done nothing to you.
What quarrel do you have with him?
Yeah, at that point, you hear the sheriff say, innocence is awfully questionable in this here county, ma'am. And
you and I are going to have a discussion later on.
And so he goes with his hat to look up at you, and he shoots you daggers. He says, you speak to me in that tone one more time, I'm going to take you over here in front of God and country and spank your hide.
He'll try to look at Sam like, please, I want to say it. I want to say it.
Sam is gonna give him daggers and say, you keep your trap shut. You got yourself into enough trouble.
He says that he did. He says, and one of the guys comes up and whispers something to him, and he says, well, if I can be so bold, he says, this here individual was found in the company of an unsavory folk we've been tracking for better part of a month now. Says he'd come to this area. Folks here seen him in his company on more than one occasion. And as my compatriot here has reminded me, you two all fit the description of some of those other compatriots he's been seen in the company of.
I happen to know quite a few people in this town.
And I do not. And therefore,
anyone's
company is
a
just
collective
equal
chuckle
to me.
from the men behind you guys that are watching this scene as she says that. They're just like...
She's so tempted just to put her hand behind her back and bring up that middle finger. She's not too sure if they would know what that means during this time.
So, speaking to somebody is a crime?
He says, guilt by association is. And from what we've learned, this vagrant here's life, it ain't worth much. He's been a bit of a bane on this town's existence. So if he wants to continue with his smart mouth, we can just go ahead and throw that horse into high gear.
Everybody's life is precious.
That sounds awfully unchristian of you to not give a man a second chance just when his stars are turning.
In a trial before hanging.
Okay. Shelley, at this point, you need to roll your empathy and persuasion fast talk.
Okay.
Let me know if you clear a 25.
Okay.
Oh no.
Wow. Where's empathy?
It's EMP.
Oh, it's up there. Fast talk. I'm not. No, I'm looking for fast talk. Where's that at?
Under empathy.
Persuasion fast talk.
Oh, there it is. I don't know. Oh no. No.
What'd
No.
you get? Did you roll a 1?
No. 9.
You got 9 total?
Yeah, I got 9.
Okay. So at this point, as she continues to get mouthier and mouthier out loud, the men, which are the bulk of the crowd here, you can hear behind you, Sam, are getting significantly more angry. And in fact, the sheriff at this point is starting to reach for his pistol.
To shoot her or to shoot or to keep the peace?
She is clearly provoking the crowd with whatever it is she's saying. She may quote unquote be in your employ for like a whole day and a half at this point, but everybody knows her as the quote unquote cut rate whore. So she has like virtually no stand. The only person who has less standing than her in this town is Stolas. And so the one that's being strung up that nobody cares about, and they would actually be fine if he just hung from a noose because they just don't like him in general, is being vocally defended by the only other person that's probably at his level. Just a hair above, and they're not having it.
Look at it this way, gentlemen. It seems that you are not friends with these folks here, but I need them for my business. And once my business is concluded, I will bring them out of town with me.
And he kind of looks and the man you've been speaking to has been kind of speaking for the others, tips his hat, and he says, "Ma'am, I ain't here to tell you your big particular business, and as curious as I seem to find it that you would hire a whore and a vagrant for business, and as questionable as that might seem, and considering I am morbidly curious as to even why, all we wanted was to find out why exactly he was around this particular individual. And well, let's just say he's talking above his station at this point. And since there ain't anybody in this town that's going to willingly defend him, here we are. We got just cause. So let me put this back in your lap, since you seem to be a lady of standing. How are you going to help me rectify this problem?
Did you ask him plainly?
Oh, we asked him plainly. And
Did you say please?
He turns and looks and he says, what was it that he spit out? And he says, and, they all kind of like start, muttering at this point. Hold on a second.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That's not even the right word. You skipped like 3 syllables.
I am literally hanging from my neck.
You can barely
thread.
speak at this point. Yeah.
Hanging by a thread.
He says something about something about some yogi and halitosis or something like that. He says it was a bunch of gibberish, and he thought it was cute. He says, so I'm going to ask again, and maybe best speak plain because none of us got time for this. How are you going to rectify my situation?
Well, you might start by asking pleasantly.
I'm asking you pleasantly, and now my patience is at an end. I won't ask again.
He hasn't even mentioned his actual question.
He's actually told you that they're looking for somebody.
Yeah. He said they're looking
He
for
said
dogs.
that. He's actually said that a couple times now.
Has he said who they're looking for?
Yeah, duck.
Have you? Well, he hasn't specifically said that to you, but you haven't inquired about that. You keep asking, did you ask Stolas, please, and what did he say and whatnot? You're not cutting to that chase. Wrong piece of paper. There we go.
I guess ask him what they're wanting to know.
And what is it that you would like to know from this unfortunate individual?
He says, all y'all have been seen in the presence of a Roscoe Doc Holloway. And he's wanted by quite a few individuals. We aim to bring him in.
I didn't see a wanted poster.
And
What is his crime?
he's got a number of crimes in addition to swindling, theft of money, dishonesty, and cheating at cards is a death sentence in many states.
You've come all the way from out of state for a card shark.
He says, yeah, looks like we did, because he made it personal.
There's not somebody more dangerous that's more worth your time.
So
Yeah,
we're
like
at
that
it.
red-
We're
red
at an
dog.
impasse, and I've asked you 3 times now. How are you going to rectify this? You ain't answered. So if I don't get an answer in the next 3 seconds, my man's going to slap that horse's ass. He's going to go riding up in a noose.
Well, seems to me he was looking for someone himself.
And
A
this
man who was on a wanted poster.
Doc was looking for somebody on a wanted poster.
Yeah, I don't know him well, but seemed like his business was in that direction.
He's with the sheriff.
Sam, go ahead and roll your empathy and persuasion fast talk at this point.
At this point, as little as he can emote through his face, he looks indignant at those two.
Okay.
$20.
And he says, so then what is your business with Doc?
He's just someone who told me a little bit about this town.
And so they kind of like look around, and he looks over at the sheriff. Sheriff kind of goes, like shrugs, sort of thing. And hang on. Doc, odd or even?
Oh God.
Even.
Even. All right. Cue the music. Dun 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 dun.
Da-da-da.
It is odd. It is odd. Da-da.
I don't know if that's good
Okay.
or bad.
Oh, it's never good.
So you hear. So you end up hearing. So you end up hearing some. At this point, there's some like side chatter from the crowd of people watching. Because most of them are, still irritated at Octavia's mouth. So they're like ready to riot. But some guy ends up saying, "Well, I saw Doc not too long ago, just like yesterday." And some of the people like turn around and they're like, "Well, what do you mean you saw? Well, yeah, he was with Mary May." And so then like everybody in the crowd's like, "Mary," and they kind of look over and so the Hiram, or not Hiram, sorry. Oops.
The sheriff.
No.
Oh, Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, Daddy's out
Edgar,
here.
not Edgar. Well, it's almost right in the middle of town. Russell Graham.
Russell Graham.
So he was actually out front of the bank because again, this is drawing a crowd, and he kind of like looks around, and he's confused, and he's like, "What? Doc was with Mary May," and then like two of the guys from this group are like, it's like, if she was with Doc, you can guarantee that her virtue was gone. And so at that point, like he's like, wait, what? What? And you're looking around, and of course, women are like starting to fan themselves, like, ooh, like looking away, and he is starting to get livid. And so.
Yeah, she's just gonna kind of lean over to Sam and just say, kind of quiet. I really hate this game.
It's losing its shine for me too.
I'd rather kill this motherboard than save it.
I mean, it's
so-
almost not worth the breakfast.
Mm-mm.
So nevertheless, at that point, and he's just like, and so he comes, storming away from the bank at this point, like with a purpose. His
Good grief.
looking through the brow of it, looking down through his eyebrows, with that intent look, like stomping forward, and like marches right up to Stolas as if Stolas would actually have this, would know what the deal is. And he says, "I demand you tell me about this thing with Mary May and Doc right now." He's completely ignoring the fact that the big guy's got a hand cannon right in your face.
He doesn't say anything, but that's probably because he's beginning to actually black out. He's been hanging for what, 5 minutes, barely on his toes.
Yeah. You can still breathe.
Has somebody
difficult.
grabbed the horse?
Only
It's kind of hard to talk like this.
only the men that were here in this posse.
So somebody is currently holding onto the horse.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and then at that point, the bank manager, Mr. Wilson, turns and and looks to the two ladies, specifically to Sam, and he says, "I demand you tell me your business with Doc right this instant."
As I said, he's just someone I ran into. Told me a bit about the town since I'm new here.
And so now you hear women going as they start correlating what business meant. And so he's just like, "Why, I never. He's with some vagrant and a whore, and now he's taken my only daughter's virtue to God." And he's just like furious at this point. And the sheriff is just like, all right, hold on. I understand that Doc apparently is an agitator. He says, but we've got laws that go around about this. He's going to have to, stand trial. And at this point, he's like, to hell with trial. And so now, like, the crowd around you is starting to get, like, raised to riotous form. And so they're all like, they're all like starting to foment, like, who's going to get what, like, who's going to grab pitchforks and grab guns, and who's going to go where. Like, they're already starting to plan, the tracking down of this man. Like, everybody in town is going to bail. When the man you have been talking to steps forward close enough, so throughout the shouting now, you can still hear him, and he says, ma'am, I'm going to ask one last time before this all goes to hell. You best tell me your actual business with this gentleman.
Sir, I don't know what line of business you're in, but as a single, gentle woman in a new place on her own, starting a business, it behooves one to hire those she can afford. Business is not easy to start up.
Roll your persuasion fast talk again.
Can I spend a willpower?
No, but you have luck points.
Yes, you do.
Well,
And I rolled a 1. I'm gonna re-roll that.
Okay.
And you know what? Those luck points sound real good. I'm gonna spend 5 points. So
okay.
I just add those on, right?
Yes. To whatever
Okay.
you roll.
Uh, 24.
Nice.
Good job.
Let me mark off all of my luck. Okay,
Thank
I'll
you,
need that
Diminutive
later.
Demon. You just received a free reroll from Diminutive Demon.
Oh, thank heavens. Okay.
So as the crowd at this point it has grown up to 20 people now, there's still more people along the street line that are clearly taking this in, but the mob has grown.
Alberta, maybe you should tell him what kind of business you're opening.
So at this point, he motions for you to take his hand. He says, regardless of our differences, ma'am, you best take my hand.
Who is this who's speaking to me?
The tall person or not the tall person, but the man you've been speaking to from the posse.
What manner of offering is this? Like, what is the attitude of his hand?
As in offered up. He's not trying to grab at you. He's holding up his hand. But at this point, he looks like he's concerned for your safety.
Okay, she's gonna look confused, but she'll take his hand.
Okay. So he helps you down, out of the cart, and Octavia, you see she's being helped out of the cart.
She'll get down and go stand next to Sam.
Okay, so as you get down, you can see two men from the mob take swipes at you, so that it comes like really close. Like these guys they're about ready to start tearing people up, and it's only the fact that the sheriff shouted at them that kept them from still lunging in and trying to grab you specifically. And so he takes you. He doesn't seem to care about you one iota. And he tells his men. He says, all right. He says, tie this vagrant up. We're gonna throw him in. We're gonna throw him in the sheriff's cell. And sheriff looks a little bit surprised. He's like, but he looks like he gets what's going on. And he keeps his hand on his pistol at this point, as does his deputy. They let Stolas down, only to literally hog tie him at this point. And the big guy throws him up over his shoulder, and they go, and everybody starts walking in back to the jail cell.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
back
going
to
to
the
grab.
jail, I should say.
I'm going to grab.
Sam's
Yeah, her other hand. I'm grabbing Sam's
Sam's
other hand.
oh, Sam's gonna yell, "This is gonna be the first story I write about in my new newspaper."
Yeah, at that point, the man is like, "Ma'am, at this point, you're going to be lucky to live to see your next newspaper." And he, pushes you inside the jail at this point, as as his men stay outside. The sheriff, or I should say, with one of the deputies, sheriff unlocks the cells and puts you guys in them.
And she's gonna say, "And to think we brought you breakfast."
I mean, at this point, they're not terribly concerned about it, with
Clearly.
the comment, but understandable, yeah. And so you began your day in a cell, Stolas, and you're now back in it with rope marks around your neck to speak of it.
Now that's everybody except for Amore gets to taste this hospitality.
So, are they like side by side cells, or are they all in the same cell?
Well, no, there's one main cell that has room for a couple of people, and then there's like one adjacent. Stolas is put in that one. You two are put into the other two and locked up.
So-
And and the sheriff at this point, he ends up telling the deputy. He says, he says, "I want you to rouse the other two and get them down here right now. We got ourselves, a mob, situation at this point." And so he goes running off.
So who's standing close to all of us? The three of us.
The only two that are in here right now is the sheriff and the leader of the mob. The big guy walked back outside.
So are they paying any attention to us?
The leader of the posse is.
You know, you could at least make this a little bit more comfortable.
She's going to look over at Stolas.
I'm not running anywhere right now.
Still think this is a funny game?
So at that point, we are seeing cuts to Skulls and Amore. as you are tracking.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Amore, and roll your intelligence and wilderness survival.
Okay. Okay. 8 and 2, and let's see what we get.
And his name is John C.
I'm sorry, what'd you get?
17.
17. Okay. So now that you've spotted the tracks from the campsite, you're doing all right keeping up on it. You're obviously not going very fast.
Mhm.
But you're remembering that one time that you went out into the wilderness because you have nomad ties,
Mm-hmm.
and they taught you how to hunt. Although it didn't really stick, you did remember the tracking part.
Nice.
You guys are kind of clopping around and watching, and then as you're following the tracks, Amore,
Mm-hmm.
you find a garter belt.
Kind of stops, looks at it, looks behind him. Well, that's not going to end well. Doc's, yeah. Oh, shit. he doesn't pick it up instantly. He just kind of stops, and he's mentally like running through his options, and he's going to want me to tell him, isn't he?
Why'd we stop?
Hang on a second, Doc. I need to ponder something. There's something about the tracks. Hang on a second.
Oh,
He kind of bends down like he's, really examining the tracks, and takes the garter belt and shit. And he goes, you would happen to know what color her garters were, would you?
I know my story would say otherwise, but no, I haven't had the pleasure yet. If the robots are capable of that? Hold on. Did you find her garter? Is that where you're asking?
And where he just kind of shakes his head and goes, Doc, this ain't looking real good.
Well, if that's... Can you track the rest of the trail? I mean, we've got to get to her then.
Fatality.
It's kind of new to me. I'm going off instinct. I give it the best shot I've got, but yeah, he'll continue on. He takes the garter and he kind of thinks about it. He's like, I don't want to be caught with this. Doc doesn't want to be caught with this.
Stuff it in her horse's.
Put on her horse.
Yeah.
He just leaves it there.
Okay.
He's just going to leave it there. He's like, I don't need this, and I can always say that I didn't see it. Just continues on his way.
Okay. So you guys are still continuing. It's open wilderness at this point. There's just a lot of nothing out here.
And does it seem like it's pretty much a straight path, or does it wander?
No, it is mostly a straight path, obviously, where there are bushes or something. So they're not going to walk directly through all of that. So you have to kind of go around. But direction-wise, yes.
Is there something in front of us that seems like it'd be someplace they'd be headed to, like there's a hill? Or
there's a lot of open plain out in this area, so it's really hard to say. There are some like croppings of trees in a distance, maybe over there. There is a little bit more of a ridge line off to the off to your right, maybe over there. Kind of hard to say, but right now it's kind of just still going towards really nothing.
Okay, it's not so much pick up the pace, but he's gonna kind of like go 100 steps, stop, check the tracks, go 100 steps. That's the only way he can, think of to move up the pace a little bit while still being not too far off if he misses the track.
That works. Okay, go ahead and roll one more time.
Okay. $18.
Okay. It was a solid enough plan. You only lose the tracks once, so you're able to kind of circle around a little bit, refine them again, and then start changing. And they actually do start changing direction finally. And they look like they start going over towards the ridgeline for some reason.
Okay. Keep doing what I'm doing, and like I said, it's the only way I can think of that would actually speed anything up and still not have me lose the path completely. So that's what I do.
Sure. So at this point, it's like midday as you guys are still out there. You're getting awfully thirsty. Nobody thought to bring any of this stuff, unfortunately. So right now you're just thirsty. I'll just put it that way. But do you continue to trudge on? To trudge?
Yeah. How far is it to the ridge? How far are we?
If your eyesight, do you have any optics? Like rangefinder or anything of that nature?
No, I do not. I didn't take anything like that.
Okay.
Neither do I.
Okay, wasn't sure.
Yep.
It's still a couple miles if you had to guess.
Okay, Maury's going to kind of stop and go, Doc, we got no food, no water. We're still a couple miles away. We could always go back to where the creek was and get some water there, but we're going to lose a fair amount. This is going to, another couple of miles is going to take us a better part of an hour. It's already noontime.
Right. Jeez. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, like, time is of the essence, it seems like. You know what I mean? Uh, should have brought something.
Well,
How about this? Can you show me what tracks you're looking at, and we'll go back to the creek, get some water. You go back to town, and I keep looking for her or something. See if I can pick up the trail. Because, I mean, she could be dead by now, for all we know.
yep. In the back of his mind, Maury's going, 10 little Indians, 10 little Indians, 10 little Indians. Okay. And he goes, sure, because he's thirsty. He shows Doc the tracks, and
Okay.
he says, actually, he's just going to make a marker cairn. Pile of rocks with a big stick sticking out of it, and there you go. There's a marker, and there's. He would take, if he could, just 2 rocks and score one with like almost an arrow, so he could line it up with a track that points in the direction they were headed.
Okay.
And turn around and go back to where the water is, because going without water all day is not going to end up well.
Right.
Okay. So do you guys ride hard then to get back, or?
I don't know about ride hard. We're certainly going to, because we don't want to fall off either. So probably somewhere between a trot and I'm thinking a trot would work for us at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
we got a
Whatever
ways
we
to
can
go.
handle,
Okay.
like as long as we're not falling off our horse.
Sure. Okay, so
For a person who grew up with horses, I can see Doc and Maury going,
Exactly.
I've
Is
ridden
this going to
horses,
hurt?
and I was a newbie on it. They put me on this horse that I shouldn't have been on, down into the stream bed, over the tree stumps for about a quarter mile before I brought the horse to a stop. And they're all laughing their ass off behind me, and I'm looking at them going like, I am going to remember this.
Jeez.
okay. So go ahead and give me. Why don't you both go ahead and roll? What is it? What are we having for ride? We're doing athletics. Yeah. So we're doing
Okay.
reflex and athletics.
Okay.
Roll the 10, rolling again.
I have 18.
Nice. Okay.
$27.
Wow. Okay. So you managed to get
Doc
back to the
is a
stream.
natural.
You managed to get back to the stream without any problems. And Sam, of course, is drinking water because we have been bringing it up several times in game so far. So he's like, man, I really am thirsty.
Yeah.
You managed to ride back past where you found the campsite at Rocky Point, and back to where the stream is at.
And Maury's going to go like, so it's probably 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon at this point.
Yeah.
He's looking over at Duck and going like, how you want to handle this? You're still going to go back? You're going to be out there till at nightfall.
Yeah, but this is part of the story, right? And I know we were supposed to meet the others and we're kind of late, but if you go there and let them know what's going on, maybe the rest of you can come here, assuming they're not busy with something.
Doc, you're talking about 3 of us who have no familiarity riding in the dark.
Right. Well,
I'm just being straight with you, man. That's not going to end well, and you know it.
if I can get to that ridge, because that seems like where it was going, maybe that's where they ended up, and I'll have enough light by then. I'll see about setting up camp or something. I mean, it's nice. It's not gonna rain or anything or no. Wait, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Just find out what's going on and come back. You know what the path is here. So
And Ward just kind of looks at him and goes, fist bumps and go, Doc, it's been good knowing you. Good luck. And because Maury's going like, this is a cyber nightmare created by AIs. You all are being way too overly optimistic. And he heads back to the ranch, number one.
Okay.
He heads back to the ranch, and he'll check in and see if the others have come back.
Okay. So at this point, so you are riding back to the ranch. So by the time you get there, you can see. So you can by the time you get to the ranch at this point, and it's at least 3 your time now, or
Yeah,
physically.
I know.
You can see that there's a crowd of 5 men that are on horseback that are at the ranch. It looks like they have just they've just finished speaking to Ghost about whatever happening was going on. And they go trotting off at this point, on horse and riding off kind of fast.
Okay. I watch them go. Head up to the ranch. I have no clue what, looking at them. I know who they might be, but I have no clue why they're there. So
Sure.
I'm not going to follow them at this point. Okay.
No problem. So that's what's going on with you. And of course, Skulls, you are turning around and heading out. All right. So those of you who are in town, at this point, two more of the deputies have come in, and they're starting to take, rotational shifts at the jail, guarding the place with the sheriff. The men that the posse that the posse that came with the guy, or came looking for Doc, they're still in town at this point while everybody else is out there hunting. They're waiting to get word, and they're going to ride out to go track him down or figure out what's going on. And so the man who was the leader of the posse introduces himself to Sam as Ross Osborne.
So the mob is still here in the jail?
No. The posse is
okay.
The posse is here. They're in town somewhere. The mob has actually gone out, and they're looking for Skulls at this point.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
But last you heard, those of you who are there in the cell, it sounds like they ended up getting a posse of about 50.
To go look for Doc?
Yeah, to go look for Doc.
Have fun on that ridge, Doc.
Because the banker, what you guys have quickly found out is, as he's the banker, he has a lot of monetary power in the town.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so it's clear he's exerting that at this point to find his little girl. And they're all very eager to get breaks on, whatever, loans that they've got with the bank or whatever have you. Like they are fully incentivized to find this guy.
Sam would turn to Octavia and say, "Something tells me I'm not going to get that loan."
Probably not. Had to be her.
Now you're muted, Stolas.
Sorry, I had to send an email.
you're
Am I
fine.
still hogtied at this point?
Oh yeah. You're not choking, but yeah, you're hogtied.
Can we?
Front hogtied or behind hogtied?
Behind hogtied.
Is he able to like scoot around? Like, are
I mean,
we able to like reach through the bars?
Yeah, you can reach to the bars. He can't. He can. I mean,
But
he can kind of inchworm his way around if he really wanted to. Kinda.
If he could do that, then I could probably we could work on untying him through the bars.
I mean, if you wanted to do that, keep in mind, if you've ever been into an old jail, or even seen any movies with it, it's not very private.
Oh, you mean that they would see us?
Right.
Okay. Well, yeah.
It's all in one room.
Yeah, it's all one room. There's but you can certainly try it if you want. I don't want to dissuade you, completely. I'm just letting you know as a heads up for description. It wouldn't be terribly hard to see you guys.
You know what? I would give it a go, and if they stop me, then they stop me.
Okay.
And of course, Snarky.
I would make the effort because this is inhumane.
Yeah, Snarky Octi would be still kind of going at Stolas. Still think we shouldn't take this serious? Or do you think that the rope was just pretend?
Corpo playground. That's what this
I mean,
is.
some people enjoy getting tied up, but
If
that's
they
probably
if
Yeah.
they really wanted me dead, I would be dead.
Yeah, Ross
You
at that
were
point.
going
Ross
to
at that
be
point
dead.
was like, "Oh, it sounds like your friend here certainly likes being tied up."
If we didn't come, you would be dead.
Yeah, probably, maybe. Who knows?
So, Sam, why don't you go ahead if you're going to try that, and assuming Stolas is inching his way to his back up against the cage.
He does.
Yeah.
This
is gonna be
can I
tough.
take the opportunity to reach through and thump him in behind the ear?
Yeah.
Okay. She thumps him.
Pank. Why don't you give me... I don't really have anything for rope either. So give me a reflex and athletics check.
Me?
Nope. Sam.
Okay.
What about pick lock?
It's not a lock.
No, but it's.
Is there any larceny on this thing?
I probably shouldn't complain. I have.
He's also not a door that's a jar.
That than.
Oh, he's a jar, but no, he's not a door.
The door is a jar. The door is not a jar. If it was a jar, it'd hold stuff.
Okay, athletics.
Yep, reflex and athletics.
The Stolas is a jar.
17.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, not bad. Okay, so you are doing your best to nitpick at the rope, trying to dig in like a finger or a nail or something, and get
a hairpin maybe.
Sure. and get at the the cording of the of the rope to try and get it loosened, or enough that it can you can try to start unraveling it. Let's see if they see you. There is a halfway decent chance they might. Okay.
I mean, if they don't, then they're probably kind of just easily distracted.
So so at this point, you're kind of doing your thing. And one of the deputies kicks the cage and tells you to get back. Bam! Sit on the other side.
She's gonna yell that it's inhumane to hold him tied like that.
Yeah, it's also inhumane to lay in animal feces. That didn't seem to stop him, now did it?
He was under the influence at the time.
Yeah. His influence. Ross kind of chuckles.
Not wrong. I don't mind being tied up. I just like to be a little more comfortable.
So the deputy's like, "Oh, so you want us to piss on you?"
Sir, you are in the presence of ladies.
And so, and like, Ross kind of rolls his eye and he says, "Well, lady," as he says to the deputy. The deputy's like, kind of scowls a little bit, spits to the side on the floor, and goes walking back towards the front to keep an eye out.
So
Look,
gross.
if y'all just like, you can tie me up with my wrists in the front or behind me, just not to my ankles.
Yeah, Ross.
Like, I won't.
Yeah, Ross
won't
Ross at that point just like, yeah, no go. You got yourself into this. You get yourself out by knocking whatever mouth that you've got off.
So you mean Big Mama never put you in this position?
Sam will
Ross.
slip her hairpin into his hand.
Let me ask
So
you
you
this.
didn't sit on the other side of the cage like the deputy demanded.
I mean, when he told me, I will.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, because that
Ross.
means they're going to see you get back up and try to hand him a pin.
I guess. Okay, never mind.
Okay, just making sure.
So, Ross, let me ask you this. What would you say about a man who rolls over on another one just to save his own life? What would you call him?
Depends on circumstance.
I'd start by calling him yellow and a coward. I don't know Doc that well. But for me to just roll over to save my own skin, that's an act of cowardice.
And so the deputy turns around and looks back at you as you're saying that. There's like,
now,
what?
My own smart mouth probably put me at the end of that rope. But I just don't turn over. You got it. Oh, sorry. Hands behind back. He's not wagging his finger.
Right.
Well, no, he is wagging his fingers because he'd have to be on his stomach. Now, you can't see me doing it.
Yeah, so the deputy's like, Milton, you turn on just about anybody for coin. What in the hell are you talking about?
Well, you
Maybe
stop.
I've had the shift in position.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
No.
You know, they're not going to have to hang you because I'm going to do it myself.
Then do it.
So at this point, the deputy draws his pistol, cocks the hammer, and he says, "You both are going to shut up, or I'm going to drill you. Or I'm going to drill you with a round apiece, right in the forehead. I want quiet." And Ross is like, "Just relax."
Sam is gonna stand in front of Octavia and put her hands on her hips and look
Indignant.
angry.
Yep.
Yes.
Indignant and angry. The press will hear about this.
Indeed.
Like I was saying, I'm just looking to be a little bit more comfortable. I don't mind being tied up. I don't mind being tossed around and hung.
Yeah,
This is just
and the
uncomfortable.
deputy points his
That's all I'm
pistol
asking.
right at you at this point. And Ross is like, son, you just don't know when to quit now, do you?
Nope.
Pause real quick.
Shut up. Just shut up. For once, just shut up.
You know,
Shut
many a
up.
woman has told me that. I just don't know when to quit.
Odd or even?
Even
Oh gosh,
Okay.
he's gonna get a bullet.
Okay. So there is. Oh, you know what? That is. And that is times 2. Oops, I need to get the sheet out. 12. What is your body save modifier?
oh, his is -1.
Okay, so 11. Okay, so 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so you are now at critical. You're at the first critical of 3. You need to roll a body save of 8 or higher, or sorry, 8 or lower. He didn't. He did catch you in the head, but not like completely in the brain pan. So you are bleeding, and you are in critical condition. So he's
Yeah, and Octavia will scream.
Corn.
okay.
Yeah,
so,
Sam will scream also.
Yep. So you are still alive. Ross at this point was shocked at the deputy. He's like, oh, Christ. And at that point, the deputy's just like, well, the dumbass wouldn't shut up. I got to follow through on a threat now, don't I? I'm the law. And he's just like, oh my God.
She's gonna tell Sam, you've got to convince him to get a doctor in here.
Yep.
Do they even have a doctor in this place?
Am I capable of speech?
No.
Bro.
You also need to make a stun save. So roll above a 2.
Roll above a 2 this time.
Yeah. I got that wrong. You should be rolling above it, but I mean, either way, you still made it. It's fine.
A 3.
A 3. So yeah, you are not stunned, but your head is like on fire because you just got it. Basically, it shot you and gave you a part the wrong way.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Not fire like actual fire, like fire because of the pain and whatnot.
Oh.
Although I would love to
right.
see him stop, drop, and roll hogtied and bleeding out profusely from the head. That would be hilarious.
Wow. You actually managed to hit someone this time.
Oh, she's going to tear part of her slip, and she's going to go over, shove it in his mouth.
You don't have the opportunity to do so. You're in a cell.
Yeah.
Stolas.
Isn't he next to the cell? I thought I was in the same cell as.
No, you're not.
So I'm in a different cell.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
thought
didn't
we were
realize.
in
The
Yeah.
ladies are in the same cell, and he's in a separate cell.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought he was adjacent to them.
He's adjacent to you. Yes.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
So-
you can
He still
just
has
reach
a
in there and
big
grab it.
mouth.
No, she was just going to shove their slipper.
We're past that point at this point. Stolas, you need to roll your cool and persuasion fast talk. And what I need to
Cool
see.
and fast talk?
Yeah, that's what it's under. No, it's not. Sorry, empathy.
Yeah.
Oops. And
Okay,
before you add
so that-
anything, hold on a second. Trying to look up the wound penalties. Oh,
Oh yeah.
Here we go. I hope this is it. Right. Okay. Yeah. So you still technically made that. That's fine. I had that reversed. Wounds. Here we go. At critical. Okay. So your it's your reflex, intelligence, and cool stats are automatically reduced to half. It does not affect your empathy.
Okay.
That's
So
what I need to know.
14. Still
14
not
total.
good, but 14.
Okay. Brittany.
Sir.
Odd or even.
Odd.
Okay. So at this point, he draws down again on Stolas, and he fires. But at the very last minute, Ross manages to push his arm up, and he ends up shooting the ceiling. So of course, loud explosion in the jail as deputies are come running in at this point. And of course, they're starting to argue. And at that point, Ross is like, as much as you might hate this utter piece of trash, he says we might need him for something, so you might want to go get the doc to go patch him up or to stop him from bleeding all over the place. And even the other two deputies are just like, do we though? Sam, would you like to say something on his behalf to try and sway the crowd to save Stolas?
She's gonna hold out $5 and say, I will give this to whoever brings the doctor here.
Go ahead and roll your we'll put that under persuasion fast talk. So empathy, persuasion, fast talk.
Hey, Jerome, I have a question.
And add 5. 1 for each dollar.
For each dollar, yeah, exactly.
You said I took 11 damage. Is that including the skin weave?
Oh
24.
no, true, good point. No, it's not.
Okay, so I still take 1. So I'd still be light damage. He has a 10 on the skull for his skin weave.
Well, right, but never mind. Yeah, that's fine.
24.
24. Okay. So at that point, they go running off to go and fetch the doc.
So, what are Octavia's chances to get close to, because he's still laying up against the bars? She can reach over and put pressure on the wound.
You could do that.
Okay, so she's going to rip her slip.
Okay.
And use that to, and then she's going to lean down and say, Stolas, please, for the love of God, please just shut up so we could all get out of here alive.
Why?
Because you have a woman back there waiting for you.
Sure.
Oh, and you don't think that she's not going to be upset?
Maybe you want to go down in a blaze of glory, but no one's going to see it here.
No.
This is not the glory you're looking for.
And you're not going to get no drink named after you because you died in some stupid ass game.
Now, you said it this time, not me.
But you die in this stupid ass game. You need to take it more serious than you are. We need to figure out how to beat this and get the hell out of here. I'd rather go up against the freaking cycles that we took out than this game.
How many times while y'all were gone did they have me dead to rights?
If we had not come, you would be swinging out there dead.
I'm not ready
This
Right
to
is
up
take
not.
that
This
gamble.
is not a joke. It's not a joke. It is real.
Ross would have had them pull me down.
No, he would
'cause
not
as he
have.
just said,
He would
I
not
could
have, or
still
he
be
would have been
useful.
out there already.
Yeah, Ross can hear you guys going back and forth, and he says, "No, Ross would not have pulled you down.
Thank you, Ross.
Not at that moment." I'm
Sure.
merely morbidly curious as to why a lady of station seems to fit to hire refuge such as you. There's got to be an interesting story in there someplace, I am sure as hell hoping to hear it.
You certainly have not earned that right, sir.
He says, "Well, rights ain't got nothing to do with it, ma'am."
So she's
So-
just going to continue to apply
Sure,
pressure.
Sure. So at this point, Skulls, give me an intelligence and intelligence and wilderness survival.
Oh boy. Okay, well, no wilderness survival, but I've got intelligence.
Uh-oh.
I will. Yeah, you know what? Kind of need
Yes.
to.
You got
Gonna
luck
There's
points.
some luck.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna spend all 4 luck on this.
Okay.
16.
Okay. Thankfully, you still know the relative direction that you were going, so you are able to backtrack enough to find that the rocks that Amori ended up kind of putting together to reorient you to where you need to go.
Right.
And so you're able to go that way.
Sweet.
Damned if you're able to find the tracks, but you're at least able to know which direction they were going when last he was helping you track.
Okay.
So how fast are you planning on riding?
As fast. What's the terrain like? Is it like weird and bumpy, or is it relatively flat?
It's a little bumpy, but it's mostly flat. I mean, if
Okay.
if you've ever I don't know if you've been riding, but if you ever get outside of town here in Phoenix, in most places, pretty flat.
Right.
But there's obviously some scrub brush here and there that might
Sure. Okay.
break something up. So it's like that.
Okay. Well, he's had good luck, and he's got like a few hours of riding experience under his belt, so he's gonna see if he can go like faster than he has been before, because time is of the
Okay,
essence.
sure. He's like, flame on, go web go.
Go web go.
Yip yip.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me reflex and athletics.
Okay. I'm going to re-roll that. Oh my
Ooh.
goodness. Don't want to roll a 1 right now. Better. 18.
18. Okay. So you're getting the hang of it, mostly through pain. You're understanding at this point, okay, I need to be pushing down with my feet to stay off the saddle a little bit. So I'm not like riding on it directly and getting thrown around and getting completely saddle sore. So it's like I said, through pain, you're starting to understand how to damage mitigate and ride correctly.
Okay.
So, but it's working. And at this point, it is evening. Sun is starting to set behind you, and you're riding off hard,
Yeah.
off into the distance to try and get to where you need to go. Amore? So you are back at the ranch at this point. You are also muted.
So I would ride in, talk to Ghost, aka the widow, and
Right.
go, "What was the posse here for?"
She shrugged and she said, "I guess there's an angry mob looking for Doc now."
Well, He's not going to be back for a while. He's out in the wilderness trying to find his lost girlfriend.
And she says, well, that's the problem. They know she's with him.
Actually, she's not with him. She's been kidnapped, but don't know who by.
She's like, I don't know. I was able to answer mostly honestly, but they know that we're all together somehow.
That's not a surprise. We wasn't anything that was being kept secret at the time. Okay. Do we know what happened with the others?
She says, I haven't heard anything. All I know is that they went to town and haven't heard anything since.
I see. What time of the evening is it, Jerome?
By this point, it's probably about 5. So sun is setting.
Yeah. Yeah, me and a horse in the dark. Yeah, no. Not going to happen.
Okay, so you're going to stay put at the ranch then?
I'm going to stay put at the ranch. That's either the horse goes down and breaks a leg. Yeah, no. There's no good that comes from riding out in the dark when you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Okay, alrighty. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to end it here for the night, right at about 2.5 hours. As you can see up on the screen, which of course you'll be able to see on the video on demand, next month, starting for the month of February, but our first game in February is going to be on the 2nd. We are going to be fundraising for Control Alt Delete, which is a group that specifically helps get people out of domestic abuse situations. They have been doing a fantastic job for the past 3 years now. We want to try and lend our support to give them an extra hand in fundraising, because their costs only keep going up a year end over end as they are helping more people. And it's not originally it was like toiletries and like essentials and whatnot to help get them back on their feet. I've also seen them go through and help replace locks to help keep people safe, as well as helping them set up cameras to help guard their place and keep it more aware. So they're actively involved in a lot of things, as well as I think even like helping to purchase tickets sometimes too, like on the bus, to help get them out of town or get them to family members that are beyond. They are an Arizona charity that we've worked with before. And so I'm happy to announce that we're going to be doing this again. So also let you know in our post that I put on Facebook that anybody who donates $10 or more, players excluded, will be able to grant one of our players an immediate success to whatever attempt it is that they're doing. Not a re-roll, a success. So they get to kind of hand wave it and say, no, whatever it was I was going to do, like in Amore's sense, he doesn't want to fall off the horse. No, I'm not going to fall off the horse and plunge to my death on the cliff. I have a reroll. I have an automatic success. That would be an example of something of that nature. So
we got to think big.
So the link.
So I got to start bribing people.
So the link is going to go live in February, and you'll be able to donate whenever. Obviously, there will be alerts that kick on for our streams that let you know when that happens. So if you are in the chat, and just go ahead and just send us a message and let us know. Or if you donate and don't have the capability of chatting with us directly on Twitch, you can also send a message from our Facebook page, and I can get it updated from there. So I have access to that as well. So that being said, our next game coming up is tomorrow at Street Fighter at 7 p.m. Hope to see you guys there. The game after that is this Saturday, Ashland by Night's Blood Ties game, coming up at 11 a.m. And then in February, everything kicks off with Ashland by Night the following February, which is February the 2nd. So,
Jerome, we need to roll.
Yes, roll
for
XP.
our monthly.
XP,
Yeah.
Yep. So is somebody going to roll a D10? Well, first of all, do we have any birthdays? I don't think we do. Most
For
everybody,
January? No.
yeah, most everybody in
January.
our game seem to be backloaded at the end of the year.
You're right. Yeah.
I haven't done a experience roll in a while, so I'll go ahead and do
Okay,
it.
Go
Okay.
for it.
so roll for it, Justin. 1d10.
9.
All right.
Nice.
So that's 90 IP.
Thank you, Justin.
So good roll.
Thanks,
make,
Jerome.
make sure that gets put in the chat as well, too, please, for anybody who couldn't make it. So that way they know
Okay.
what to write down. Okay, so thank you guys all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was definitely different and not what I had planned, but rarely does that happen. So also in March, we should be going to Game On, and we have at least one panel so far confirmed. I have to check with them and see if we're going to have another confirmed. We will be recording that, so we'll have that posted as well when that actually happens. But obviously, that's still like 2 months away. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys have a nice night. Good night.
Night.
There we go.